Hello and welcome back to my crochet channel. I'm so happy you're here because I need to share my new crochet project with you, a crochet taco bag. I have written instructions over on my blog at popstomilk.com as well as my shop. I will leave links in the description. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more videos, don't forget to subscribe. I'd love to get your thoughts on this, so leave me a comment and share this video with someone who loves tacos. Keep watching to find out how I made this funky and quirky fashion accessory. For the meat portion of the taco, I am using Bernat Super Value in color chocolate, but for the purposes of showing you what this step looks like, I'm going to use a lighter colored yarn so you can actually see the stitches and what I'm doing. But for this example, I am going to be making less chains just so that I can show you what this stitch looks like. Okay, I've got my chains for this sample that I'm making, and I'm going to skip 2 chains and I'm going to single crochet into the next chain. So I'm skipping these 2 and I'm going to single crochet in this chain. Next, I'm going to skip 1 chain and I'm going to make 2 single crochet into the next chain. So skip 1 and 2 single crochet in the next chain. And I'm going to repeat that across. So skip 1 and 2 in the next. To finish the row, we're going to skip 1 chain and make 1 single crochet into the last chain. So that is what the first row will look like. Now row 2, we're going to turn, chain 1, this chain 1 does not count as a stitch, and we're going to single crochet into the first stitch. Then we're going to skip 1 and 2 single crochet in the next, and we'll repeat that to the last 2 stitches. So we're at the end of this row and I'm working my last 2 single crochet, going to skip 1 and make a single crochet into this top of this turning chain. And that's what row 2 looks like. So you can already see that there's a bit of a bumpy texture, which is what I was looking for to resemble meat on a taco. Now we're going to repeat the same row 2 for the next 2 rows. So rows 3 and 4, chain 1 and make a single crochet into that first stitch, skip 1 and 2 single crochet in the next. And again, just repeat that for 2 more rows. In the end, you will have a strip, so you can hopefully see the texture. You can't really see it against the dark yarn, so that's why I'm using this little sample here. So here is what the meat for the taco looks like. I'm going to sew them onto the zipper on either side of the zipper teeth. So now that I'm going to add it onto the zipper, I'm going to line it up so that I've got the foundation chain edge on the zipper portion, like so. And you'll notice that the crochet strips are much longer than the zipper, and this is because that is going to extend to the base of the bag. If you are making this bag and you are comfortable using a zipper foot on your sewing machine, that is if you have a sewing machine, by all means use a sewing machine. I myself don't feel as confident using the zipper foot, especially on crochet fabric, just because I have a hard time using a zipper foot on regular fabric. So I'm doing this by hand. And no, I am not paying too much attention to see if the stitches are even on the other side. You can't really see them over the crochet stitches anyway, but as long as the crochet piece is secure and isn't going to come off the zipper, that's really all that I care about. Next, I'll be working on the lettuce. Just like the meat portion of the taco, I need the lettuce to also reach the base of the bag, so it has to be the same length as the meat portion of the taco bag. So for the lettuce, row 1, chain 76. Okay, I have my 76 stitches, and now I'm going to make a half double crochet into the 3rd chain from the hook, and then I will make a half double crochet into each chain all the way to the end. Now row 2. Turn and make 2 chains to start. This does not count as a stitch, and I'm going to make 3 double crochet in each stitch across. And this is going to give this piece a lettuce-like appearance. So 3 single crochet into each stitch across. So this is what the piece looks like once it's all done. As you can see, it looks like a nice little green spiral, but this is not the look that we're going for. I'm going to lay it flat against the tortilla portion of the taco and sew it along the half double crochet row. Alright, next is the tomato. You cannot have a taco without some diced tomato on top. So to make the diced tomato, I'm going to use a magic ring, chain 1, and I'm going to make a single crochet, 2 chains, and then another single crochet, and another, and then I'm going to chain 2 again, then make 2 single crochet again, chain 2, and repeat that again, 2 single crochet. Just gonna pull the yarn tail just to close it a little bit, then chain 2, and 1 more single crochet. And I'll just tighten this and slip stitch into the 1st stitch. And there is the little diced tomato. I'm going to cut the yarn and leave a long tail so that I can sew this onto the taco when it's done. So I will be making quite a few of these little diced tomatoes as toppings. So to make each little piece of shredded cheese, I'm going to chain 8, and then I'm going to slip stitch into the 2nd chain from hook in each chain across. And you can see it naturally curves, just like shredded cheese. So at the end, I'm going to again leave a long tail, just like I did with the diced tomato pieces. Leave a long tail to sew onto the taco later. And I will make a whole bunch of these as well to sew on. Okay, it's time for the most important part of any taco, and that is the tortilla, or the taco shell. So I am going to start with a magic ring. I'm going to chain 2, and this does not count as a stitch. And then I'm going to make 6 double crochet. Alright, so here is my 6 double crochet. I'm gonna tighten up my magic ring so I'm left with this little half moon shape. And I'm just going to build up on this by working this in rows. So the next row, row 2, is I'm going to chain 2, turn, and again, the starting chain does not count as a stitch. I'm going to make 2 double crochet into each of the stitches. and double crochet 2 into the top of the turning chain. So that is row 2 done. Row 3, again, I'm going to chain 2, turn, and I'm going to make 2 double crochet into the first stitch and 1 double crochet into the next. Then again, I'll repeat that, 2 double crochet into the next stitch and 1 into the next. And then we end this row with 1 double crochet in the top of the turning chain. So then we're going to repeat that. So 1, 2, turn, make an increase, so 2 double crochet into the first stitch. And this time it's going to be a double crochet into the next 2 stitches. Then increase. And then repeat that, 2 double crochet into the next 2 stitches, and repeat that to the end. So I will continue working on this, and I'll just keep increasing every row. I will continue to increase until the half circle is just a little bit bigger than the meat portion of the taco. I'm now going to get started on the bottom, the base of the bag. So this is going to be a strip that will join the 2 half moon shapes that form the tortilla of the taco. And I'm going to start by making a chain of 17. So this portion, as you can see, is going to be worked in rows. It'll be short rows until we have a length that matches the same as the half circle for the tortilla. So now that I have my 17 chains, I'm going to skip 2 chains and single crochet into the next. And this is the same stitch that I used for the meat portion of the taco. Now row 2, chain 1, and this does not count as a stitch. I'm going to single crochet into the first stitch. I'm going to skip 1 stitch and then 2 single crochet into the next stitch. And again, I will repeat that all the way across. And at the end of the row, I'm just going to single crochet into the top of the turning chain. And I'm going to repeat this row until it is long enough that it's the same length as this half tortilla. So I'm going to work on that, and I will see you back here when this is all done. I have my bottom of the bag, and I also have the 2 side panels that are basically going to be sewn together like this, which is what I'm going to do next. I'm going to grab my needle and just sew along the seams here. So once I finish sewing it together, it will resemble a taco shell. I have started to sew the taco shell together. This is the side, one of the sides, and then the bottom part of it. And then here's the other side that I'm gonna sew like this. And then I thought, this is pretty floppy, so I kind of want to see what it would look like if I used a bit of this plastic canvas. Basically cut it and sew it onto the bottom of the bag. So I'll cut this in half and have 2 layers of the plastic canvas. Sew it onto the bottom of the bag. And hopefully that'll make it a little bit sturdy. So let's try that out. I have sewn on the lettuce, I've sewn on the bag liner. I really love how the chili pepper pattern looks. It just goes so well with the whole look. I love the green and the red together, and this gives me Piranha Plant vibes from Super Mario Brothers. I think it looks really fun. And now this is what the bag looks like with the zipper sewn on. This was super easy to do. I love that I was able to just put the zipper onto the strips, the crochet strips first, and then sew the crochet pieces on after. But here's a little problem I've got. So now I just need to figure out a way to close up that little gap and just sew the seams at the other side of the zipper. Here's the taco bag, nicely lined and full of taco toppings. So now comes the fun part, sewing all the toppings, and I'm going to start with cheese. There is no specific order to do this. I just place the cheese and tomato where I think it looks good. And as I'm sewing, I'm pulling both yarn tails through to the underside so that I can tie a knot after. Also note that I am not sewing the whole piece of cheese down because I want the pieces to have some character, so to speak. Plus, cheese doesn't just lay flat, so that's what I'm trying to achieve here. So I'm going to continue adding all of the pieces onto the bag, and I just wanted to show you what I did with that gap that was on the bottom of the meat portion where the zipper is. I just crocheted a little rectangle and then I sewed it on, and I'm just going to use the toppings to hide the seam. For the bag strap, I'm using a chain and a keychain ring that I will attach to the bag. I decided to make tabs or loops for the keychain ring, and I'm going to chain 8. Then I'm going to single crochet into the second chain from the hook and into each chain across. In row 2, I'm going to chain 1. It does not count as a stitch. Then I'll single crochet into the first stitch and into each stitch across. And I will repeat that until the rectangle is about 2.5 to 3 inches long, or about 12 rows in my case. You can also make this longer or shorter if you like, and of course, check with your keychain ring or whatever you're using to make sure that it actually fits. So you might even have a narrower or a wider rectangle for your tab. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my keychain ring and I'm going to attach it. And I've got the straps that I was working on earlier. I started to sew it down so that I could also put a little tomato on top of it. So what I'm going to do is just put this through and then sew it down to the taco bag. So I'm going to fold this in at the seam here and sew it down. And I want to make sure that I'm grabbing onto the actual bag because this is going to be supporting or holding the weight. So I do want to make sure that this is going to be secure and nothing's going to come undone when I'm actually using this and I have things in the bag. All right, I'm inserting the needle into the bag and then through the base seam of the strip and then through the other layer. Okay, this looks pretty good. So now I'll just weave this in and then work on the other side. Okay, so I've added the chain to this side of the bag, so I'm just going to do it on the other side now. And this is the chain that I'm using. It's just something that I got at Michael's, I think it was. Yes, it is from Michael's. It's missing all the important information here, but it's just a lightweight metal chain. I could also just open up the key ring, but I find this to be a lot easier than opening up a keychain ring. And that's it. So now I'm just going to twist this so that this part of the keychain is tucked away underneath. I would like to add like a shoulder padding to the chain. So for that, I'm going to grab the yarn that I used to make the tortilla part, and I'm just going to make a simple rectangle that I can wrap around this much, just so that I have a little bit of padding when I wear this over my shoulder. So I'm going to work on that. All right, so here is the bag, and I mean, I'm glad that I've added this padding to the shoulder strap here. And I do like how this looks. It looks amazing. It's a little bit floppy, too floppy for my taste. I really want more structure along the zipper. So I'm going to cut some more of this plastic canvas and just have two strips running on either side of the zipper. And hopefully that will give it some more structure. And there we have it. The taco bag is done. So this is what the shoulder strap ended up looking like. I just sewed it down the center and I sewed it onto the actual chain so that it stays in place and it's quite comfortable. I'm glad I did this extra step. And as for the actual bag, I sewed on all of the cheese and tomato. I think it looks really fun. I love the zipper being the sour cream. I love the liner. It was a very happy coincidence that it happened to be chili peppers, and it goes so well with the whole taco theme. The lettuce looks amazing. It looks just like lettuce in a taco or a burger. I mean, if we're looking at it from this angle, it almost looks like a burger. And then the taco shell itself, I'm a fan of soft tortilla shells. So in the blog post, I've got my suggested order of how to assemble everything. I do have a different order that I think makes more sense. So I hope you find that useful. So I hope you have found some inspiration in this pattern, in this design. If you make this taco bag, I would love to see your take on it. If you liked this video and found it inspiring and you want to make your own taco bag, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you have subscribed, thank you so much. And as always, I would love to know what you thought of this video. If you want to see more tutorials like this, or if you would like to see other kind of projects, let me know in the comments. I would love to know. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video.